Hey everyone, Lieutenant Holzhauser here, and this is going to be a quick training on our new Unication G1 voice pagers. So let's get started. Now right off the bat, I know this looks and is probably going to feel a lot more complicated and daunting than our old minuter pagers, but what I've tried to do just to start us off with is make these work and function almost exactly like the old pagers, and a lot of the bells and whistles that these things have that we don't necessarily need right now, I've tried to turn them off to make it a little bit more simple to use, and then maybe over time we can re-enable some of those. So going over the knobs, buttons, and switches, you've got your power knob, volume knob, you've got your channel selector. On the old pagers, there were four different positions you could put this selector switch on. This one has 8 different positions that you can put it on, and we'll go over what all those do later. There is a little button on the top of the selector switch, and that is for activating the stored voice function. We'll go over that later. This can record your calls and you can play them back later. Just like the old pagers, there's a reset button on the side. Across the front, you've got a menu button right here. That menu button, we're locked right now, so to unlock it, push the middle button and then you push the reset button on the side. So I'm going to push the middle button, push the reset button on the side, and I'm unlocked. So anyway, you've got this menu button on the side, you push that, and really the only thing you can do in here is turn the key tone on or off. I've disabled everything else, and the key tone is when you push a button it makes a sound. So by default that's off. You can turn it back on if you want. The menu, when you go into any of these menus, it's set to time out after a certain amount of time, so if I don't touch anything it just times out. And then if I still don't do anything for a couple seconds, the whole screen is going to turn off just as a power saving feature. There we go. So I can push any button, turn that back on. There's a record button right here. That's for recording voice memos. For now that's disabled, but if there's a big demand for people that want to record voice memos, I can turn that back on in the future. You can see the lock just came back, so this unit I've got auto lock turned on after a certain amount of time. So again, if you want to unlock it, push the middle button, push the side button, and the lock goes away. There is this little envelope down here. The envelope is a shortcut to text messages, which was available in the 3G cell phone enabled versions of these pagers. They don't offer those anymore. And then you've got another menu settings button over to the side, and we'll go over those later. So going over the different selector switch positions on the top, right now we're in position 1, and when you look at the display, position 1 is selective call, Yarmouth Fire, so it's only going to go off on fire tones, and the little speaker icon right there means that it's going to tone as opposed to vibrate, right? So if I go to selector switch position 2, now it pops up, it says it's going to tone because you still get the speaker, but it's going to go off on fire and EMS calls. And then if I go to position 3, it's going to same selective call, Yarmouth Fire and EMS, but you see this icon up here changed, so it's going to vibrate now. Let's see if I can focus on that a little bit better. So it's going to vibrate instead of tone, right? So if I go back, turns into a speaker. If I go forward, turns into the little vibrate icon. So go to position 5. Position 5 now says that it's a monitor mode. So this is going to be an open frequency as opposed to the first 3, which were silent frequencies, right, until the tone went off, and then you'd hear all the radio traffic, and then you hit the reset button on the side. When it's in monitor mode, it's just going to be chatting away. You'll hear all the radio traffic for Yarmouth Fire Department, and it's going to it's going to, you see the little speakers back, but it's got the little vibrated wave things on the side, so it's going to tone and vibrate on Yarmouth Fire-Rescue, right? Go to position 5. Position 5, you've got Yarmouth Fire and Yarmouth PD, and it's a scan between Yarmouth Fire and Yarmouth PD, right? So the Yarmouth Police Department are typically first on scene of calls, and so when we get a tone, sometimes it's nice to hear what they're seeing before we show up. So that's an option that's available to you guys if you want to be, I'll say, situationally aware. You can flip over to this position and it'll scan between the fire department and the police department channels. So go to position 6. Position 6 says mutual aid, fire, and PD. And so what this is doing is this is scanning our mutual aid departments. It's scanning Freeport, it's scanning North Yarmouth, it's scanning Cumberland and Falmouth, and it's scanning the Yarmouth Police Department as well. It's not scanning any of the police departments of our mutual aid, just the fire departments. If we go to position 7, I cut out the police department, and so now you're just scanning mutual aid fire only. So I know that sometimes our police department's very busy, they're talking on the radio a lot, and sometimes you just want to hear what's going on the fire side, so I've given the option to just scan the fire departments. And then if I go to position 8, position 8 is an empty channel. So if there's something in the future, some sort of functionality that you guys want, we can add that later on. So I know I went through that really quick, but you probably picked up by now that with the alpha display here, right, with the picture display, you don't have to memorize what each position does because it tells you what each position does. So unlike the old minitors where you had to kind of memorize what did channel A do, what did channel B do, this one just tells you what each channel does. Back to the buttons across the front, like I said, this button, this menu button over on the left-hand side can really only turn the key tones on or off, and there's really nothing else you can do. So you've got some up-down buttons, and then you've got an enter button in the middle. So record button doesn't work. This mail button, if I go into it, like it says no text messages, so I'll just hit the middle button to get out of that. And then you've got a couple icons across the side. This is the return to home button. And this little door button is to go into whatever menu you're looking at right now. So I'm gonna return out of that. Then you get the settings button off to the side here. If I click into settings, there's a couple different things that you can do. There's the today icon, and if I click on that, it's just going to show me any messages that I haven't yet read, right? And they're all 0 right now, so it's just going to only give me the return home. Function status is the same thing as this icon over here, so I'm just going to back out of that. Voice messages, so along with this button at the top of the selector switch to go into your stored voice messages, there is a menu option to go into your stored voice messages, and I've got a couple tones in there from previous ones that I haven't listened to yet. After voice messages, there's text messages, which we don't have any. There's settings. If I go into settings, you can check out the time and the date. Zone is, there's only one zone in this pager, so it's always going to be zone 1. Keytone, whether you turn the keytone on or off, some information. I just put in, who the pager was assigned to there, and then clear memory to clear any of your text messages or tones or voices or anything like that. And then there's Bluetooth. These pagers are Bluetooth enabled, so you can connect any kind of Bluetooth device that you want to it. You can connect Bluetooth headsets if you're outside mowing the lawn or working in the yard, and you want to be able to listen to what's going on, while you're on one of the scan frequencies or one of the monitor modes or the priority scans. If you want to be listening to what's going on, you can hook it up to, or you can Bluetooth it to your car, you can Bluetooth it to your portable speaker. And so just to show you how that works, I do have a Bluetooth portable speaker here, and so I'll show you how Bluetooth works. or syncing Bluetooth. So I'm going to go into the menu. It's locked again, right? So I'm going to hit the home button and the side button, menu, and I'm going to go down to Bluetooth. So I'm going to cycle the power on. It's going to initialize. I can look at devices connected. Right now I don't have any devices connected. So what I would do is I would search for devices. So before I search for devices, I'm going to turn my Bluetooth speaker on. And everybody's Bluetooth device is going to be different, so it's going to be up to you to kind of figure out how to get your device into pairing mode. This particular device, if I push the little Bluetooth icon over here, there you go. That's going to send it into pairing mode. And then so I can, on my pager, I can say search device. And it's going to be searching for a Bluetooth device. And there we go, it's found my JBL Flip 4. So I'm going to click the little icon to pair it. And it's asking me what the pin is. And typically when a Bluetooth device doesn't have a screen or any way to tell you what number to use, the pin is just going to be 000. So I'm going to hit the up or down arrows, and then I'm going to hit enter, which is this little arrow right here. So I'm going to hit down 0, next, down 0, and then I'm going to hit save. And it's going to pair. Connection successful, so that I can back out and back out. So I'm back to the home screen, and if I hit my static button, there you go, everything's going through my Bluetooth speaker now, which is pretty cool. You've also got this little Bluetooth icon up here, and it's got the little wavy coming out of it saying that it's connected. If I turn my Bluetooth speaker off, there you go, the little wavy goes away. So you've got Bluetooth activated, but it's not connected. Like I said, you can do the same thing with a pair of Bluetooth earbuds. Do it one more time. Bluetooth power's on. With these ones, I'm going to turn those on, and then after a quick initializing, the headphones are going to automatically try to search for something if it can't connect to it. So when I search for devices with my pager, there we go, I found my LG headset, so I'm going to hit the enter key, and again, it's probably going to be 000 on this, because there's no way for the headset to tell me what number to use. Connection successful, and so now, you can't really hear it because it's a Bluetooth headset, but you got the little wavy coming out of the Bluetooth, so it is paired to this, and if I turn the headset off, the little wavy goes away. So it's a pretty cool feature. That's about it. It's a pretty simple device. There's a lot more functionality that we could put into this if we wanted to at a later date, but for now, I think it's a pretty great device to start with. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out, and thanks for watching.